Thank you. Very excited to be here, year two. We have three of our players, Christian Delario, Jalen Dunlap, and Malik Turner here with us, represent our university well. What a difference a year makes. You know, last year this time, I knew a few of the players, thought we knew what their roles would be. Feel like we have that down now. A year to work with the players off the field to really establish how we're going to win football games, pretty important. After a year on the job, had a chance to survey the landscape a little bit too, to see some of the things we needed to change to take that next step. Our facilities being one of them. Just felt like we were behind most other teams in the Big Ten and in college football in general. So having plans, start date for our new facility should put us on par with other football teams, other football programs. Players have been working extremely hard, just like most other programs have. We've seen marked improvements, strength and conditioning wise, just concept wise on how we're going to win football games, which should really help us an awful lot. Talking offensively, we'll have a new quarterback. Chase Crouch will be our quarterback. Really excited about what he'll bring. Throwing the football, dual athlete. He's a football junkie. You want a guy like that. He's undisputed leader of our team. Really have a lot of confidence in him going into his first year as a full-time starter. Last year, as I talked, Mike Dudick was not a part of the plans. Mike has had a chance to rehab. He's 100%. We'll watch what he does a little bit in practice, but he's good to go. Should give us another big boost on the offensive side of the ball. I mentioned Malik Turner coming back, which should help us an awful lot. Kendrick Foster, guys like that. We know we have a couple of other positions where guys have to step up, but we feel like we'll get that. Defensively, still about taking the ball away and things like that. We'll have, for the most part, new players on the defensive line. A guy like Sean Adesanya, you don't know a lot about, you will in time. We'll ask Jamal Milan to step up into a different role. I mentioned Jalen Dunlap a little bit early on, being one of our players that we have here. So just excited about year two in our program. We haven't been competitive enough. We realize that. I mean, our program hasn't been going to a lot of bowl games. We realize that, but it's a process that you have to go through. And again, the things you should do and you need to do that are necessary behind the scenes, we are getting done right now. So these meetings kind of kickstart the season a little bit. We start our training camp a week from today, which we're pretty excited about. Can't wait to get back out on the football field. I'll take your question.
Start here on the right.
Hey, Lovie. Gavin Good with the Daily Illini. You mentioned you've had a full year now to get with the team. And what do you expect from the team this season now working with you for a full year?
Easy answer is just marked improvement as much as anything. We didn't win enough football games. And just don't feel like it's hard to play the type of ball that you envision us eventually playing. Offensively, you got to score more points. Simple as that. I mentioned defensively, we have to take the ball away. Something as basic as that. Certain brand of ball. We always want to play harder, more exciting football, and just find a way to win football games. It's hard winning football games, but you have to do some things behind the scenes, which we feel like we have done.
Right here in the first row.
Lovie, Jeremy Warner, Scott.com. You mentioned the new facility plans, about an $80 million facility. What functionality does this have for the team, and what does this mean for recruiting?
Well, recruiting-wise, what I've seen a year on the job is that, especially in the summer, most guys now, they go on a campus tour. They have different stops along the way, making comparisons. And right now, of course, we don't have a lot of players right now that are just coming to our place based on facilities, but we feel like we're evening up that playing field an awful lot. And what we're talking about, meeting rooms, the latest and greatest in technology, new weight facility, all of these things, when you have the latest and the greatest, that has to be a positive, maybe mainly in the players' eyes a little bit, but for us, we know we have an awful lot to offer at the University of Illinois, but having facilities that are as good as everyone else should help, and I know it will.
Third row on the right here.
Hi, Coach. Paul M. Banks, thesportsbank.net. You said in your opening remarks that Dudek is 100% now. I know you weren't at the program the last time he played, but do you think that he could be that same player that he was 2 years ago after everything that happened, or could he even surpass the production that he had then?
We're hoping so, for sure. And my experience teaches me that when you have a major injury like that, you do everything you possibly can to get back. And you work harder than maybe you would have before. I know Mike has been doing that. I've seen him go through the process. Every step along the way, when you're out of sight, out of mind, I know right now, as far as his speed, which we've measured, his strength, which we've had a chance to measure, he is back to where he was before. I didn't see him play before, but there's video of him, and I just know that he'll give our offense a big boost.
We'll go here in the middle.
Lovie, Jim Cotter, Danville Commercial News. I know looking up and down your roster, you see a lot of players that haven't had a lot of experience. You have a lot of young players.
Can you raise your hand? I can't find out where you are.
Right in the middle.
Okay,
Coach.
Here we are.
Can you talk for a minute about the young players on your team and which ones you might see step up and make contributions this year?
Okay, I'll kind of group them a little bit. First off, we have a freshman class that's on campus right now, and really feel good about the freshman class. Feel like when we recruited them, we thought that some of them would have long futures and be able to contribute right away. But I'll just stay away from them right now. Just some of the players that haven't played a lot, that have been on our roster, that didn't play for us last year. We talked about, of course, Mike Dudek, getting him back into the mold. Tight end wise, a guy like Caleb Ring, a local guy from this area. Really kind of counting on him a little bit. Gabe Meganson, a player that's played a little bit. So some of those new players we'll be counting on a little bit. Defensive side, I mentioned Jamal Milan that has played a little. Sean Adesanya that hasn't, a lot like Mikey Dudek, is coming off major injuries. They should help an awful lot. But then the linebacker position a little bit too. We brought in, we won't recruit an awful lot of JC players, but a guy like Dale Sean Phillips, will have a chance to help us. And again, the freshman class we're in a place right now in our program where, as we recruited guys, we say you would get an opportunity to play early. And can't wait to get to training camp to see how many of those guys really can step up.
In the first row here, Coach.
Hi, Coach. Jacob Diaz with the Daily Illini. In your remarks, you mentioned you were taking steps behind the scenes to sort of improve the program and get us back to competing in bowl games. Could you just elaborate on what steps you're taking this season?
Well, when we say steps, there's an awful lot that goes, into that. Right after our football season, we started evaluating then. We said, hey, we need to recruit players. We have spots. We want to elevate the talent level. Feel like we've done that. All season workouts, things as simple as just gains we've made in our strength and conditioning program. Last year, this time, we had a couple guys that could squat 500 pounds. We're over 20 now. Things like that behind the scene that you're doing. Our systems, just knowing players' roles more from a year in it. These are the things that I'm talking about. We know each other well now. We have a challenging schedule. It's about Big Ten play, but our non-conference schedule, playing two teams, 2 of the 3 teams had over 10 wins last year, which would be challenging. All of that. We're excited about, 2 night games we have also, you know, against Nebraska and South Florida. So there's a lot of things going into play.
Toward the back on the right here.
Yes, hello. Takuma Roback, Medill Northwestern. I had a question about the particular pipeline in South Florida. There's several players on the roster from the South Florida area.
Yep.
How important is that pipeline for the program moving forward?
Well, I think it's very important. First is you're identifying our recruiting areas. I mean, it's about Illinois and, of course, Chicago, and it's about St. Louis, Indianapolis, you know, this triangle that's close, but we have to go other areas too. Just traditionally, for some reason, Florida's been one of those areas. We have a lot of ties there. Our main recruiter, Thaddeus Ward, has a history there. And now we've had some players that have had success that really feel good about a university and that can really kind of lead that next wave of players coming up. So Florida is an area that we will continue to recruit hard. And this year we moved into a couple of other areas too. I'm from Texas. We have a few coaches from our staff also from there. It's another area that we feel like we can gain grounds on also.
Halfway on the left.
Shannon
Yes.
Ryan, Chicago Tribune. Lovie. I wonder if you could go in more depth about Chase Crouch. Just what kind of improvements do you need to see from him from last year, besides becoming healthy again? And where have you seen some improvement?
Okay. Shannon, first off, we need to teach him how to slide. You know, that helped a little bit. But when you have that type of mentality as a quarterback, and I've had different guys like that in the past, that trying to get a yard, trying to get a first each play, they just have to play a little bit smarter football and know that just not about that play. You have to do everything you possibly can to protect yourself. He'll do that. But what I've seen is just an off season of talking football. Even though he's coming off an injury and he didn't have a chance to do an awful lot in spring physically, the mental part of the game, I've seen him improve so much. On every football team, there is a leader. There's one guy. You have different leaders, but there's one guy. In an ideal world, you want that to be your quarterback that everybody believes in. He's the voice. When he starts talking, everybody else stop. And that's what we have in Chase. But I think he can be productive, running the football when he has to, buying time, and then getting down, of course, as I say it. But we think he can make the throws too. Every first-year starter has to have a first year, but I just feel really good about his first year being our starter. That's why there's a lot of optimism down in Champaign based on him.
Final question for Coach Smith in the back on the right.
Connor O'Gara with Saturday Tradition. Lovie, you referenced this earlier, just being a new year and going into year 2, a different mindset. What's maybe something that caught you off guard in year 1, something that you learned about coaching in this conference?
Well, it caught me off guard. I mean, I'm a football fan all my life and have watched college football and the strongest conferences in college football for a long period of time. So we expected, tough football each week, a lot of good football coaches in the conference, a lot of good football traditional powers, and that's what we got. We expect each week to be really hard, and it'll be hard to win football games. So I can't say that I was really surprised an awful lot based on what happened. We just know that reality says we need to catch up. We didn't do our share. We weren't one of those teams that people were talking about. We can't wait to the day where we're in the discussions about making the conference stronger, and that's a part of our future too.
Thank you, Coach Smith.
Thank you.